Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Lindsay Holloway, the Vice President of Events by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Over the last year and a half, our team has shared dozens of live broadcasts and event videos with you, our co-readers, to help you recover and rebuild. Today, I'm delighted to host this workshop in partnership with our friends at YouTube to give you best practices for using video and YouTube to help your business attract new customers and grow. I know that my team and I are going to learn a lot too, so I'm very excited for today's session. Online videos are already a dominant force in marketing, and their popularity is rising. In fact, they're set to make up more than 80% of consumer internet traffic by 2022, which is astounding. More than 2 billion monthly users watch more than 1 billion hours of YouTube content now every single day. Small business owners can tap into this huge community by sharing your story, attracting new customers, and expanding your reach. At today's workshop, you're going to hear directly from 3 entrepreneurs and YouTube content creators about how they've turned their YouTube channels into powerful tools for business growth. They're also going to share practical steps for how you can start a channel and create videos with impact. Take a look at the link to the YouTube resource guide the team is dropping into the chat widget on the right side of your screen now. Across today's program, we want to make sure that we hear from you as well. So as you go, please type your questions into the widget on the right side into the chat window, and we'll take your questions at the end of the program. And as you share your questions, please include your name and share a little bit about your business so we get to know you. We also want to know where you are in your own journey to using YouTube and to using video to grow your business. So let's try out a poll now to get started. Here's the first question. Are you currently using online videos to support your business? You can answer, yes, I'm a pro, yes, I'm just getting started, or no, but I'm interested in learning how to get started and how to get moving. So if you haven't done so already, head over to the right side of your screen and answer the poll. Let's see how we're doing. 73% of you are new, so this is going to be a really exciting session for you to know how to launch the poll, launch a YouTube channel. About a quarter are just getting started. And then we've got 3% that are our pros. We want to hear from you what you're doing. So if you have advice for us, type that into the chat and we can call on it too. All right. Well, thank you all so much for participating in that first poll. Let's go ahead and introduce our entrepreneurs and YouTube content creators who are going to share their insights and advice throughout our session. So please welcome Chris Bossio, Talaat and Tai McNeely, and Randy Lau. Let's get to know each of you a little bit better. So to start off, tell me about your business and how you support it with YouTube and with video. Chris, let's go to you first.
Hi, thank you guys for having me. So I have several businesses. Started a barbershop chain about 9 or 10 years ago. And one of the things that we were struggling to do was find really good help, good barbers who were kind of like having the same wavelengths of what our mission statement was as a barbershop chain. And in order to do that, I remember us having a lot of YouTube videos in barber school. We decided to use YouTube to try to reach the barber community, since it was so accessible to the barber industries and barber students who were looking for jobs. And so we utilized YouTube to reach these young barbers, new barbers in the industry. And we were able to grow our team pretty quickly by doing that and scale our barbershop businesses to about 7 locations in 5 years. And then from there, we just continue to build within the industry, and we started a product line that really took off based off of the audience and the community that we built because of YouTube. And it's really worked out very well. To this day, YouTube has been the foundation of both of those businesses.
I love that. And I love hearing how you used YouTube, how you used video as a means to attract talent. I think that's a surprising thing. Most people think about it just in terms of consumers and customers, but it can be a talent source too. Okay, Talaat and Tai, you're up next. Tell us a little bit about your business.
Sure. We run a platform called His and Her Money, and we do this completely full time. How many of you watching this educational lesson that we have here before you, how many of you guys have life experiences that maybe you've learned along the way. You've learned lessons. That's our personal story. We had some failures in the area of finances, coming together as a married couple, and we decided to share with the world. So we weren't pros. We didn't have it all figured out. We decided to literally take our journey, put it online, put it on YouTube, and bring people along the way. And we've done just that. So now we completely run our business full time, to be able to support our family.
Yeah, we teach financial literacy because it was something that we were striving to learn. We know that finances is one of the things that destroys marriages. And so we wanted to try to be a resource for people to figure this money thing out, because we're not taught it in school. We're not taught it a lot of times by our family. And so we went on a journey. We became debt free, paid off our consumer debt, paid off our house. And people have just been doing the same as a result of us using YouTube to be able to share our story so that they can create stories of their own.
And we make money doing it.
Best of all, right? I know that it's sort of interesting to have you guys here. I'm sure that there are a lot of small business owners watching that right now that are Googling you to find you and to learn how they can follow in your footsteps. Okay, Randy, you're up next. Tell us a little bit about your business.
Hey everyone, my name is Randy and I run the channel Made with Lao. It is a Chinese family recipe channel that I work on with my family. My dad has been cooking Chinese food for 50 years. He used to run his own restaurant, and he just knows I think he knows like over 1,000 recipes. So, growing up eating his food, I've just wanted a way to document that love and preserve our Chinese heritage. Originally just selfishly, because I have a kid and more on the way, and I just wanted them to be able to have something. I want to be able to pass down something to them. But it's kind of ballooned into this huge community and platform that we get to share with like hundreds of thousands of people. We started in September 2020, kind of pivoting during the pandemic. And now we're at over 450,000 subscribers, which is just like, I thought we would get there at some point, but I didn't think that we'd get there this soon. So we're just really grateful it's just a really great intersection of something that I find really fulfilling and something that, can really scale. And this is really only just beginning. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about all that today.
That's awesome. And I love your story for a number of different reasons. One of them just being how fast your business has taken off.
Yeah.
So thank you all for being here. We're going to hear more from everyone as we get going. But Chris, I'm going to turn to you first and ask you a couple more questions about your business. So you're a hugely successful entrepreneur. You shared with us that you've got 7 barber shops in the Tampa Bay area, and you service over 500 clients per week in each location, I think. So by my poor math, that's 3,500 customer visits weekly across your company, which, wow, it's a lot. It keeps you busy. So, you shared a little bit what led you to start making videos in terms of talent recruitment. Go there a little bit deeper and tell us about that story and where you started from.
Yeah, so we had opened our first location during the recession. Pretty bad timing, but it was kind of a necessary pivot for us to do. And it was really hard at that time. People were afraid in general to do anything. But the one thing that people were still willing to do was go get a haircut, because it was the only thing at that time, I feel like, for men, that they could get instant gratification, walk into the barbershop. Maybe they're stressed out about what's going on in the world, but then they would instantly feel better about themselves and leave with more confidence. And we wanted to share that with people who might have lost their jobs, that there was another profession out there that you might have been overlooking. And so by using YouTube to teach people how to cut hair, we inspire a lot of people to go to barber school and want to join our team. But not just that, it ended up reaching way beyond our community, way beyond our city and where our barbershops were. And we were inspiring, barbers all over the world, but we were also reaching customers from everywhere. And it's interesting because I share this all the time. Like, we have customers that literally fly out from all over the world just to get a haircut at one of our barbershops. And it's always fun. It's always fun hearing how they found us and their stories and all that good stuff. But it's amazing how when we started YouTube, the idea was to be able to recruit talent, and it turned into something so much bigger, so much more, because of how many people are actually on YouTube just just watching stuff. And it also gave people, I think, a different perspective on the art of barbering, because a lot of barbers, they see it as an art. So we definitely built a lot more customers, a lot more clients. But then what ended up happening towards also towards like I think once we started hitting like maybe once we got to like 100,000 subscribers, we started getting a lot of people reaching out from us reaching out to us internationally, and we started doing like shows, traveling the country, doing different like hair shows and expos, and teaching barbers all over the country. But then we started doing it internationally too, way beyond our scope of what YouTube was going to help us do. But it's crazy where it can take you.
So let's go back to the very, very beginning, if you don't mind, before you had 100,000 subscribers, since we know so many of our viewers today, as we saw from the poll, are just getting started. I gather from one of your very first videos, you already had 1,000 views, which is an incredible starting point. How did you grow your audience? What tools did you use to get to that 100,000 mark?
Yeah, I think sometimes people getting started kind of overthink it. You know your industry, you know what people are looking for, you know what customers are looking for. That's why you're in business. And typically what helped me out the most, especially with like the first video, and I didn't know this at the time, but I was just touching on topics that people would organically were looking for information on anyways. So like I started out with a tool that was popular at the time with barbers. And that video did really well because people were already searching for that. And then another thing that I think helps out a lot of people is, you know, if you're already a viewer, if you're already part of the audience of YouTube, and I know a lot of people are watching videos, you know, you kind of know the type of content that you would make, but you can add your own value to that. And so at the time, YouTube, like barbering tutorials or barbering videos, they were good, but they weren't as like in depth, or I felt like I could add some more value by adding captions or doing a voiceover instead of just me showing my tools and doing haircuts. So it's pretty much just where can you add value to what's already going on in that community within YouTube, and then what are things that people would organically search for anyways. I felt like those were the things that I kind of stuck to, and it helped my channel grow the most.
Super helpful. I know that a lot of our small business owners that are listening and watching right now want to know how long this takes. You know, the instant gratification of if I start a YouTube channel tomorrow, when am I going to be able to see success from that? So for you, how long did it take? How many videos until you started to see ROI back to your business?
Yeah, I think ROI could be subjective a lot of times, but as a business owner, I saw ROI right away because we started getting some track. And even if it was a few barbers that were watching from the area, we were getting attention from our the audience that we were looking for, and that was the barbers in barber school, maybe looking for a job. So right away we started getting ROI in terms of that, because we were getting some traction and recruiting some talent. And then there was, you know, the ROI of opening opportunities for different revenue streams. For example, the education, the traveling and educating. Another would be the product line. We weren't even imagining that, but you know, that opened up an ROI. And we didn't really start making money from actual YouTube, from AdSense, where I think a lot of people, they kind of focus on that. We didn't really start making money on that until probably a year after, maybe, is where it started to get where you could probably do YouTube full time. That's about where it was for me, where I started seeing that type of success.
So a lot of hard work goes into this, but it's not an endless journey before you start to see real ROI.
Yeah.
So let's bring back Talaat and Tai and Randy here. I want to hear from them as well. We know that there are a lot of ways to measure success in business. And of course in YouTube as well. So Talaat and Tai, let's start with you. How have you measured the success of your channel? How have you found ROI?
I think for us, it's in numerous ways. I think there are some intangible and there are some tangible, kind of what Chris was alluding to. You know, the instant probably ROI, because when we set out, our goal was to help people. We wanted to try to use our story to inspire others to create one. And so things that people would comment to us, things that people would say back to us really motivated us to keep going. Because when we first started, we didn't know what we were doing exactly. We just knew we wanted to help somebody. So we turned the camera on and started talking. And so that was the initial ROI. And in our first year, we did $6,000, you know, and so we were like, wait, oh, you can make some money doing
I
that.
was so excited about that $6,000. I'm like, somebody's gonna pay us to talk about money? What? And here it is. We didn't feel like we were perfect at it. We were literally just bringing people along the way, the journey. And so some of the other things that we've been able to do, we've been able to work with brands and companies, and we make money through affiliate marketing. And best of all, we get to sell our own products. So for a lot of the small business owners out there, you've already figured out a solution to a problem that a lot of people have. And so you'll be able to feature your products and resources, and all products may not necessarily be physical. Some of them, we have our digital products. So we don't have a large overhead whatsoever. And YouTube has allowed us to be able to do that and to make money.
Got it. I want to underline one thing that you said, just so everyone heard it loud and clear, which is you don't have to be perfect at the beginning along the journey. It's a learning thing. Okay, Absolutely. Randy, what about you, Randy? How do you measure success?
I echo a lot of the same things that everyone else has said. I think, you know, there are a lot of intangibles that we get from just being able to share our videos. Like, I think having my dad as the figurehead of the videos is very relatable and makes people feel like, you know, they're in the kitchen with their parents or grandparents. And, you know, sometimes they didn't get to like document those recipes themselves before, you know, the passing. And it like, we get comments like that a lot. It's just like, we get to help people fill that void of knowledge. So that always makes me feel really great and like always keeps me going. But I think like in a tangible way, like there's a lot of money to be made. And like, I think the pie is so huge on a platform like YouTube. And so just, you know, just from having a big audience, you know, we also get brand deals. We also have a recipe blog. There's affiliate marketing and Patreon. There's a lot of different ways to monetize having an audience. So like we are already over 6 figures on our first year, or I guess since we monetized in November, we're already over 6 figures, which is like mind-blowing to me. And it's just, I mean, it's just there's so much abundance out there on YouTube, and I think it's like it's up for everyone to grab it and like, you know, seize hold of the opportunity in front of you.
Wow, congratulations. I agree. That is mind-boggling. Incredible success. So now that we've talked about what success looks like and define that a little bit on what that looks like with the YouTube campaign, I wanted to go back to what it takes to get started. We know that everyone watching today is an entrepreneur. We know that you're already very, very busy running your business, running your day jobs. And I'm sure it's really intimidating to think about adding video creation as another item on your already super long to-do lists and task lists. So we're going to do another poll right now. Everyone will go to the widget on the right side of your screen. What's the biggest hurdle you're facing right now in moving ahead and setting up a YouTube channel? 1, you don't know how. 2, you're hesitant to take on another to-do, another task. You don't have ideas, you don't have the right content, the right story to share, or you're just unsure if you're going to get that ROI and it's going to be worth it. So let's see how people are responding. Okay, 33% saying concerned about the additional work, the additional lift. 32% not sure how to set it up. So our next segments are going to be really helpful for you to unpack exactly how we can get started. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and close out this poll and come back to our panel. So Talaat and Tai, I know that you faced a lot of these same hurdles when you were launching your YouTube channel. So we're about to provide a video from YouTube where you discuss creating an account and getting started. So let's see what Talaat and Tai have cooked up for us.
Have you been contemplating launching a YouTube channel, but have no idea how to get started? Well, fret not, because we're going to break down each step that you need to take coming up.
Hi, Hi, we're Talaat and Tai from His and Her Money, a YouTube channel turned full-time business. We teach people how to get out of debt and build their personal wealth. When we first started on YouTube in 2014, we knew two things to be true. One, we were deeply passionate about making conversations about debt and finances accessible and empowering to the everyday person. And two, we never filmed a video before together. That first video was...
As I look back on it, I cringe.
Same.
But we knew that we needed to be in the place to be impactful as we wanted to be, where everybody was already gathering. And we knew that that place was YouTube.
When Talaat and I first started our YouTube channel, we didn't have any fancy gadgets or equipment. Here are a few steps to get started.
Step number 1, sign into your business's or your own Google account.
To sign into YouTube, you'll need to create a Gmail account or sign into your already existing Gmail account. It is helpful ahead of time to decide if you want to open your channel through a personal or business account, and what you'll be calling the channel as well. When we were deciding on our channel name, it was easy just to go with the name of our already existing brand.
Step number 2, create your channel. You can start 2 types of channels: a personal channel that is simply managed through your Google account, or a brand account in which you can set up 1 or more managers. You'll manage both through the YouTube Studio.
Now, to create your channel, sign into YouTube on the desktop or mobile site.
It's time to personalize this brand new channel of yours. Provide a brief description of what your channel is all about, links to your social media pages and your business's website, your URL, and channel name.
Step 4, brand your channel. Now we're really getting into it. We recommend using the desktop site for this. To start off, select your channel in the top right and scroll down to Customize Channel.
Under the Layout heading, you can add a channel trailer. This is a preview of your channel, so we recommend choosing something that will pique interest and also concisely show what viewers will get when they subscribe to your channel.
In the branding section, you can upload or change your profile picture and then add a banner image that will appear across the top of your channel. We recommend high quality, colorful images that features the name of the channel, yourself if you're comfortable, and a visual representation of what your channel is all about.
And we made sure that it wasn't too busy, it was clean and airy, and it really was a representation of who we are and what we were bringing to the table.
Step 5, upload your video. Before you start sharing your channel around on social media, you first want to make sure that there is content for people to view and enjoy once they arrive. This will make them more likely to subscribe and come back for more. At this point, the nuts and bolts of your channel have been created, and from here, you're ready to start uploading videos. We can't wait to see what you create and how you contribute to this diverse, wacky, and authentic community.
Now that you have the information, it's up to you to execute. Don't sit on this. Don't put it off till later. It's time to get started now.
Thank you, Talaat and Tai. That was awesome. I wish that all of our viewers were backstage with us so they could hear all the or see all the shout outs that we were giving to you in the chat. It's no mystery why you've been so successful on YouTube. So you shared with us the nuts and bolts of how you got started in building your channel. How did you ease your anxieties? How did you get comfortable putting yourself out there? What gave you the courage?
Well, I got to be honest. Initially, I personally was terrified. So I want to know everybody in the audience that has that fear of the camera or speaking in front of people. Got you. I know exactly what you're talking about. I have 3 college degrees. I'll tell you a quick story. But the first time I went to college, it was to get an associate's degree because I was in the military and I promised my mom that I would still pursue college education. I took every class I needed to take to get that associate's degree except the last class I had to take, which was speech. And I was so terrified, not scared, terrified of speaking in front of people that I never took that class and I never got that degree. Then you fast forward to this point in life where I felt that we were to share this story to help people, and I was afraid, but I did it afraid. My wife is a natural when it comes to this stuff. She's been in front of cameras before, but for me, I've always been a background person and thrived and felt comfortable back there. But I knew that for what I felt in my heart and what was in my heart, in my wife's heart as well, for us to do with our message, it was going to require me to overcome that fear, push past the fear. And the more reps, the more times we did it, the more comfortable I became. And I think it just you have to get through that first video. You can't get to video 100 without doing video number one. And so it's just important, imperative to have a reason that's bigger than yourself to turn on this YouTube channel, whether it's because you know that you are given this business and you want to steward it well and you want to scale it, whether it's you want to take your personal story and impact the world, whether it's you want to share something that you know could help other people. You have to use that reason has to be bigger than you, has to be bigger than your fear, so that you can press record and press record again and press record again.
And I mean, as you said, it's practice makes perfect for sure. I know for me, I am very much like you, Ty, that I have a natural fear of public speaking myself, but I found that video Zoom calls, it's a lot easier than if you're at a podium with 100 people in a room. So it's a more comfortable spot for me, and hopefully for a lot of our small business owners that are watching too. Okay, Randy, what about you? What was the biggest hurdle that you overcame to build your video presence and join YouTube? How'd you do it?
Oh man, there's a lot of, I think there's a lot of like really small hurdles. I think it for me, it helped a little bit that I'm not the star necessarily of our channel, but like I think if I was, I think just getting used to like being in front of the camera and talking and just putting the reps in, like Ty and Talaat were saying. I think just getting prepared to launch essentially was pretty nerve-wracking, because we actually shot 8 full recipe videos before we launched, just to have like a backlog, and I ended up scrapping 3 of them because I was just like they were fully edited, but I just scrapped them because I just didn't like them. So I think just being able to commit to a date was kind of scary, but it helped a lot because I told my friends and family, like, we're gonna launch our channel on this date and you have to hold us to it. I think that like I'm a perfectionist by nature, but I think having that commitment publicly, even if it's like just a dozen people or like one other person, I think helped me like push past like, okay, at some point I have to deliver and start publishing. So I'm just gonna keep, like, I think my mentality was like, I just have to keep learning as I publish, and I'm still learning with every video that we published. And so I think that sentiment that's been echoed is like, you don't have to be perfect, and I really believe that. Like there really is no perfection. You just only keep improving. And I think even before YouTube, like I made a lot of videos and a lot of them really sucked, but I think just putting the reps in helps a lot. And I think I think just being able to just believe that you're going to get better, and then just enjoy the process and have something that pulls you to continue to share. I think whether it's like your personal story or something that's just something that brings you joy, I think you should just get reps and share that.
Got it. That's super, super helpful. And I want to call out 2 pro tips that I think that you gave us. One, to encourage small business owners, if they want to start a YouTube channel, if they want to start using video, give yourself a deadline and hold yourself accountable to it. And 2, when you do start, don't just start with one. Do the work so that you have a library that's built up and ready to go for your launch. And if I were to add a 3, I know I only said 2. The third is to be a critic of yourself, right? And if you start with 8, be a critic and pick the best 5 so that you're showing up with your very, very best product on day one. So Chris, what about you? What was your biggest challenge and how did you conquer it?
For me, I think it was definitely the fear. I'm naturally an introvert, but I think ultimately what I told myself is, this is a topic you're passionate about. Just act like you're having a conversation with another barber. That's it. Talk about things that you guys could talk about on a daily basis in the barbershop. And the other thing was, believe it or not, people like a little bit of rawness, a little bit of real. So I feel like on YouTube, it's okay to stutter every now and then and every now and then. Like you're gonna get a pass on YouTube because it's like, I don't know, you're just being yourself, and people connect with that a lot better sometimes, especially when you're building, a community. So it's okay to stutter. And then editing will make you look a lot better on camera than if you were doing live like this.
So that'll be a pro tip for us. Next time we're going to pre-record this and we'll serve it up to the audience.
Editing always makes me sound a lot better.
For sure, 100%.
So the videos we know, the videos that we make, the content that we serve up are critical to the success of the YouTube channels that you all are hosting. For our audience, I want to hear from you as viewers and consumers and students yourselves. I want to hear from you how you engage with video. What types of videos help you the most as a small business owner? So we've got a third poll for you here. Let's pull that up and go to the right side of your screen and answer the questions. Tutorials, how-to videos, product demonstration, vlogs, video logs, or behind the scenes content. If it's something else, if you're the 9% hitting other, type into the chat. Tell us what that other is. For me, I know that tutorials and the how-to videos are so helpful to me in learning new skills. And it looks like that's true for everybody else. 3/4 are engaged by tutorials and how-to videos, which is helpful since, of course, that's our panelists here today. Okay, well, thank you, audience, for participating in that third poll. Now that you've answered that question, our next YouTube tutorial featuring our own Randy Lau will help you figure out how to make your videos authentic, entertaining, and effective. Okay, Randy, you're up. Let's take a look at your video.
Hi everyone, my name is Randy Lau and I run the channel Made with Lau along with my dad.
You should be rolling the video here momentarily.
Of over 50 years.
See if we can grab it.
And originally I just wanted to start this channel to capture his recipes and our Chinese traditions and to be able to preserve them and share them with our kids. To my surprise, our videos started resonating with hundreds of thousands of people, and the success of our channel has allowed me to turn this into a full-time job that supports our family and hopefully many generations to come. In this video, I'll be walking you through some tips and tricks to creating your first video. I know you're nervous, but trust me, the world needs to hear what you have to say. And YouTube is the best platform for your creative, business, or personal pursuits. When we first started our channel, I actually wasn't sure how people would respond to our videos. But when making videos that you're authentically passionate about, you'll be surprised just how much people will respond. But before we can talk about building your YouTube business, we need to talk about actually filming your first video. You don't need fancy equipment to get started filming. In fact, we recommend starting off by using your phone camera and considering these few simple things. Position yourself or the subject of your video in the middle of the frame. Having a light source in front of you, such as a window letting in a lot of natural light, or a ring light or a desk light. Using a tripod to keep your video stable and level. Choosing a background that is visually appealing, balanced, and not distracting. And making sure ahead of time that you have enough space on your phone to record. Before you start filming, I recommend reminding yourself of the person you're trying to help with your videos. Take a deep breath. Picture them, and pretend you're speaking directly to them through the lens. It can be a lot to remember, lighting, backgrounds, talking points, so in order to make it a little more digestible, we've broken it down into the ABCDs of effective creative. Attracting the viewer. This means making your video feel fluid and visually enjoyable to the viewer in order to heighten their experience and keep them watching for longer. This can be done by using a tight frame on the subject, having a colorful background, and filming in good lighting. Brand. This is your time to let the viewers know what you and your video are about. Try to introduce the topic, your product, or the brand in the first 5 seconds before diving into the meat of the video. When I thought about Made with Lau and what our brand is, I've brought 3 consistent elements into our videos. 1 is excellent instruction from an OG Chinese chef. 2 is cultural tidbits and context into what a dish's story is. And 3 is this family wholesomeness and getting to sit down with us and eat a meal together. Connect. This is incredibly important to think about, and that's how to use storytelling, humor, and your authentic self to talk about your brand or topic of the video. People come to YouTube to connect with real people, So let them see what you and your business are really about. In the process of sharing our videos, we've gotten to connect with a lot of different people in our community. People are like, oh, watching your videos makes me feel like I'm with my dad, or, this recipe is something that I wish I was able to write down from my mom or my grandma. And I think it's just a special experience because as a child of immigrants, I think there's this desire to preserve our culture and write down these recipes and traditions. And I feel like we get to do that on a huge scale. And to share these videos with people just drives a deeper and deeper connection with our community that I am just so grateful to have. And finally, direct. End with a call to action, whether that's watching another video, subscribing to your channel, leaving a comment, or signing up for a newsletter. Giving viewers a direction of how they can support you and your work will begin to build your new relationship with them. I would have never known the incredible opportunities that YouTube had to offer me and my family, and met amazing people around the world if I hadn't uploaded that first video. And with each filming session, it'll get easier and easier. I can't wait to see what you bring to the platform, so let's get creating.
Whoops, sorry about that. I was muted, everyone. Well, thank you, Randy. That was an awesome tutorial. I feel like you've given us so many pro tips. I'm scribbling them down really quickly myself. I hope that everybody else is too. Chris, I want to come back to you. You opened the door before for talking about the importance of editing. That might be a scary skill. What does that mean, right? Tell us how you learned. How did you get these videography skills? What other advice do you have for small business owners for getting started?
Yeah, I learned from YouTube. I learned how to edit from YouTube, and I started out with iMovie with a free, application. And it would take me like 4 or 5 hours to edit one video, and I would stay up late nights doing it. But like Randy said in the video, it gets easier, and those 4 or 5 hour long editing nights turned into one hour, and you develop a system. You develop just like Randy shared how he had 3 concepts that he would make sure that he implemented in every video, and you build efficiencies in it. But and then it gets really excited because you start to get better at it. You start getting efficient at it, but you also start getting better at it and adding other elements, and then getting nicer equipment, and it just starts to get fun. So yeah, that's how I learned how to edit.
That's awesome. Talaat and Tai, what about you all? What advice would you have to share?
Bingo. YouTube.
Yes.
We learned how to edit YouTube videos on
YouTube videos.
YouTube.
There you go. Full circle.
That's the honest,
Yeah.
don't really have much to add. We had we started with
A little camera, power shot,
little power shot
$100 camera that
we got on Black Friday.
Yeah.
And we had Adobe Premiere Pro. I was a teacher at the time, so it was a discount for teachers. And then just started Googling tutorials about Premiere Pro. And whenever I hit a stumbling block, I would YouTube that particular stumbling block and figure it out and just add that to the repertoire, and just kept building, stacking skills based on what I would be learning from YouTube about YouTube.
That's great. And Thanksgiving is coming up here. So if folks are thinking and sort of nervous about the capital commitment to buy equipment, Black Friday, there you go. Plan for it. So let's move to questions from all of our co-readers and viewers that are watching today. I see a lot that are coming in to the chat on the right side of our viewers' screen. So we're going to divvy these up among our panelists. So let's start with Chris. Here's a question for you. Okay. How do you really grow a YouTube channel for pre-existing business, especially in 2021? How do you compete as a business against entertainment channels? That's a good question.
I don't think you're necessarily competing with entertainment channels. Like Randy said earlier, YouTube is a huge pie. I think what you do is you identify who your customers are, what type of questions do they have, and use YouTube to give people access to answers for those questions. And then what ends up happening is you become the expert in that field, and it's just going to drive traffic because YouTube is like a search engine for people. It's going to drive traffic to your business and hopefully convert some new customers for you, depending on what type of business it is that you're running. So that's what I would do. I would just focus on your current customers, what type of questions they have, and then create videos answering them, and then put it on a platform like YouTube where it's a huge place where people are looking for answers, and it could convert into way more customers than you've imagined, for sure.
So this is a question for everyone that you sort of opened the door to there, Chris, which is search, right? And how people find you. So this is a question for everyone. How do you maximize SEO on YouTube? Keywords, hashtags, and for our audience, SEO, search engine optimization. Who wants to take that one?
I can take it. If and then if you guys want to follow up. So YouTube, in the descriptions, what I'll do is I'll put my website links, and on my actual website, I'll put internal links. So like if I'll create a page or a blog post or something like that on my business website, and in some of those keywords, I would link a YouTube video, and that would just help drive traffic, and it would help me rank on Google search engines as well. But it's also helped me rank on like Google Maps and stuff like that. So it's really interesting how using like all the suite of Google services can really help you rank and grow, within your local area as far as a business. So that's usually how I do. I just make sure all my links are in my YouTube channel descriptions, and that I have links to my website as well, to the YouTube videos. So that's how I utilize it.
I have some to add too. So
go for it.
And I love that answer. I think like putting your videos on your blog and like using the whole suite is a really, really, really great idea. For YouTube specifically, I think like this, like in the blogging world, there's a lot of SEO tricks you could do and like backlink building and stuff like that. But I think for YouTube, there's like, apart from like setting keywords in your title and description, I think one other thing that people might overlook is you should actually say your keyword naturally in the first like 10 to 30 seconds of your video. And like if you have the ability to add timestamps, like add some other keywords in there, because YouTube wants to know what your video is about. And like the most reliable signal of what it's about is what you're actually saying in the video. So you should definitely say your keywords in your video, and add captions if you can, because that gives YouTube an easier time to understand what your video is about. But I think apart from SEO, like I think you actually just need to make, like in addition, you just should focus on like getting people to watch more of the video, because YouTube's trying to optimize for watch time as well. So the longer you can keep someone on YouTube, the more likely it is they're going to put your video in front of someone else's video. So those are my two things.
That's great. Talaat and Tai, I think that you were going to respond as well. Did you have something to add?
Real quick, I just want to add this too. Utilize YouTube Studio. I mean, they have resources there to actually help you figure out how to title a video, but they also have end cards, as well as you can link to other like videos within your video. So therefore, YouTube sees that people are probably watching the same video in the same category, and that also helps you on the search engine as well too.
What about thumbnails? That's kind of YouTube SEO, right? The thumbnails
that's huge.
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thumbnails are huge.
Chris, tell us about that. What do you mean? Tell the audience about thumbnails.
So when people are searching through, I mean, me personally, when I'm searching through YouTube, the first thing that catches my attention is thumbnails. So you just got to kind of look at, what's going to grab somebody's attention with all that traffic that's going on. And so like, it kind of goes back to that first question that someone asked, like, if you're trying to answer somebody's question as a business, then the picture kind of has to make sure it's showing that. So it might be how to operate a camera. Make sure you're showing, you're pointing at the camera, showing it, make it big, make the thumbnail loud. And then your keywords in the title have to kind of close the deal and make someone click on it. And then like Randy said, if in the intro, you're not grabbing them, like there's 3 steps. You got the thumbnail that got their attention. Then you got the keywords in the caption that's going to really close the deal. And then when they click on the video and they're watching it, if you don't grab their attention in the intro right away, then they're just going to click out, and then your videos aren't going to rank. They're not going to be suggested because they're not going to be looked at as valuable to YouTube's audience. So I think that those are like the 3 main steps to focus on, and just make sure you add value in the videos.
Got it. Thank you. Let's talk a little bit about money. So for our financial experts, Talaat and Tai, what's the best video strategy for a business owner who doesn't have a huge budget, isn't ready to make the big investment on day one?
Yeah, we tell people set a budget. For us, when we started His and Her Money, we started with only $500. And we made that commitment that we were going to grow our brand, and whatever money the company made, we put right back into the company. And so that's the fun thing and the unique part of having a YouTube channel. Honestly, I really do feel like it can be the lowest overhead out there. You don't have to buy the biggest and grandest equipment starting out. When we started again, we purchased a $100 PowerShot Canon from one of your local stores on a Black Friday. And that's what we used. We filmed in our kitchen. And so our kitchen lights were the light, and instead of an umbrella light. And so start with what you have, and then you're going to grow and evolve as your channel grows.
Yeah, and if you don't have the 500, start with free. You have a phone. You have the sun, right? And so you use what you have. And it's been said numerous times, hey, start with your phone on this training. And some people are like, my phone? Listen, our phones have powerful cameras. We were flown out to another YouTuber and flown to their studio, sat on set, and they shot with an iPhone.
With a phone.
With an iPhone.
We're like, wait a minute.
This is a 1 million subscriber channel with a huge presence, and we sat in front of an iPhone and recorded a great video. A great video. So start with your iPhone. You know, you can get a $20 mic that plugs into your, if you don't have an iPhone, whatever type of phone you have, off Amazon. You can sit in front of the sunlight, open the window, and start recording. You can use whatever free application. If you have a Mac, like Chris talked about, iMovie, PCs, I'm sure have free video makers on there as well. Start with what you have and improve as you go.
I think free or $20 are both numbers that our audience is going to get behind. So beyond the cost side of things, let's talk about revenue, right? This is an opportunity as a real revenue source. So Randy, let me go to you. How have you generated additional income and revenue from your channel?
Yeah, so YouTube AdSense is usually like the top 1 or 3 revenue sources for us. So that's a staple. We also, from the beginning, I wanted to have a recipe blog. So that's like an additional source of income, which is about pretty even with our YouTube AdSense. Once you get enough traffic on blogs, you can qualify for like ad networks like Mediavine or AdThrive, and they pay a lot. Like their ad rates are pretty high. And then apart from that, it's a lot of brand deals that have been coming like more in the past 3 months that brands will pay a lot of money to get in front of your audience. And then as like supplementary sources, there's Patreon, where people, if you're not familiar with Patreon, YouTube also has memberships, but both of those they allow your fans to pay you directly, and then you give them perks for that. And then there's also affiliate links. So an affiliate link, if you're not familiar, is like you put a product link in your description or in your blog post or an email blast. And if someone purchases that product or any other product on Amazon, at least through that link, then you get a commission for that sale. So those are I'd say our 5. Yeah, we have 5 income sources.
Wow. And as with any business, you want to make sure that it's just not one revenue source, right? That you've got a lot of different areas that you're looking for. Chris, Talaat, Tai, anything to add to that in terms of the income pie here?
Yeah, again, your own products, your own merchandise. So like we have these are our shirts, and people ask us all the time, where can I buy one of your shirts? And so we're about to launch an entire t-shirt line and things like that. YouTube has allowed us to be able to literally get feedback from our subscribers or even non-subscribers, because a lot of people watch your videos that may not be subscribed to your channel. They're going to tell you what they need from you. They're going to tell you what they would like to see. And so we take a lot of our comments that we receive and we go back to the drawing board and we figure out ways that we can make extra revenue with our company.
Yeah, I think another one is speaking engagements. Yep. People have come and vetted us out long before they ever contacted us about coming to their event and speak, because they just watch our videos to see our presence. It almost serves like a digital resume in a lot of ways. And so We've been brought out to corporate events, church events to speak as a result of them seeing us on YouTube.
Reality TV. I mean, we can't tell you all the amount of producers that have also reached out to us. And our first question that we always ask, how did you hear about us? And usually 9 times out of 10, a YouTube video. And so that made us realize right there, that is a digital resume. We don't have to go out and like knock on doors or email executives and things like that and say, hey, look at me. They're looking for you. They want to find you. And YouTube is a viable place where they can find you.
So a follow-up question for you all. We've got a question from one of our viewers that's for you all. How the viewer would like to hear how a service provider, an executive coach, a consultant can use YouTube as a revenue producer. I feel like that's a nice follow-up to what you were just sharing and talking about.
Everything that Randy mentioned is something that a executive coach or a consultant can use. Again, when we started YouTube, in my mind, I was like, is there going to be anybody that's going to actually pay us? And we're teaching them how to save money. Like, it was an irony to me. It was like backwards, but no, they really do. They want your resources. And so you can, again, digital products work really, really well for executive coaches and consultants, but affiliate marketing is also a really nice revenue stream that I don't think a lot of people utilize to the fullest. So for an example, we don't mind sharing. We partnered with someone, did a video, and we don't just partner with people just because we want to make money. We partner if it can provide a service to our audience that they can utilize. And so we partnered with someone and brought them on our show and mentioned their product. And the product was like $30-something, you guys. No exaggeration. In 1 year, that one affiliate product, we personally made over $200,000. And here it is. We only have 200,000 subscribers. So a lot of times people are looking at these big, large YouTube channels. Oh, I need to have 1 million subscribers to make money. No, you guys, we only have a couple 100,000 subscribers. And one affiliate product, just by shooting one video, yielded us over $200,000. And so you can partner with other people that have services, bring them on your channel, interview them, talk about their product. But again, make sure that it makes sense. You don't want to, your audience can tell if you're just trying to make money. They really, really want to see you help them. And if you're helping them from a heart of serving, you're going to be just fine.
And as a coach and a consultant, it's a chance for you to demonstrate that you know your stuff.
You know what you're talking about.
So it's a chance for you to put value into the world, and that creates buy-in for people to want to know more, to maybe go to your one-on-one consultation, because hey, if they're giving me this type of value and adding to my life on YouTube for free, I can only imagine the type of value I'll get for their paid services. So it's a way for you to showcase that you know how to take them to another level.
Absolutely.
I think that's really, really smart. And I think another pro tip that we heard there, let's see if we can go back to the 4-box here and see everybody. I think another pro tip that we heard there is just to make sure that anything that you're sharing is authentic and you, and really you and your offer to your particular audience. A final question for everyone. We've talked about this in pieces across the last hour, but I want to talk more about audience growth. Chris shared a lot about this at the beginning. So Talaat, Tai, Randy, Chris, any other pieces of advice or counsel on how small business owners can build and grow their audience?
Consistency. You have to show up on a regular basis. If people come watch a video of yours and then they click on your channel and the last video you did was 3-6 months ago, that's not going to ingratiate people to hit that subscribe button. If they see that you regularly put out content and man, not only was this video good, but man, these other two look interesting as well. That is what causes buy-in for people to want to connect and be a part of your tribe. And so it's going to be important, especially in the early phases, for you to show up and be consistent. For us, it was at the bare minimum once a week, but a lot of times it was multiple videos a week, because we wanted to show people that we had something to say, that we were going to be there for them when they needed us.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think like the foundation of it is just being consistent. Like, you have to keep showing up. For me, I shared a lot of our videos in like niche, like Chinese cooking groups or Cantonese groups, or just there's different like niches online that are really engaged with what you are already sharing. So I'd find some of those, but I think, I kind of touched on this point earlier, but like, I think our growth really spiked when YouTube started recommending our videos to like masses of people. So I think some of And that's nothing that we could have done ourselves, but I think, just providing value in your videos, and you can measure that too, like analytically, like how long are people watching your videos. You want to try to get them as long as possible, and like change up your editing in the process. You want to have like really good thumbnails and clickable titles. So focusing on bringing those metrics up will give you a better chance of being like recommended by the YouTube algorithms. And like, I think that for us, at least, that's where a lot of our growth came, like 90% of it.
That's great. Thank you. Let's see. Chris, you started us off, so I'm going to give you the last word. As a result, you're going to bookend us. What other pieces of advice do you have for small business owners that are looking to get started?
Yeah,
how to grow their audience?
I think I 100% agree with staying consistent. That's number one. But I also think that a lot of times it's overlooked is it's okay to collaborate with other creators. I think that audiences really love when their favorite creators in the same niche or on YouTube in general get together to create content that's going to add value to the community. So collaboration is a huge one, and it's a great way to get suggested under other people's channels as well that are doing well. So don't be afraid to reach out to other creators and collab.
So that is all the time, unfortunately, that we have for today's session. This has been incredibly useful to our team here at the U.S. Chamber and at Co. And I hope that it's been useful to everyone that's been watching. I'm sure that you've taken a lot of great notes here and are ready to get started. So first, thanks to these amazing entrepreneurs and content creators that have spent their afternoon with us. Chris, Talaat and Tai, Randy, thank you so much for giving up some of your busy day to spend time with us. Thank you for taking the time to help our co-audience follow in your footsteps. Of course, a huge thank you to our partners and friends at YouTube for helping us put together this session and hosting these amazing entrepreneurs. Don't forget to check out the small business playbook that we shared initially for any other tips or advice that you might need to get started. We'll also send that playbook and other resource around to you by email after this program concludes. So look for that in your inbox shortly. Anyone who would like to join our next workshop on workforce issues, head back to the event hub at CO's Big Week for Small Business to check your schedule and join the meeting. Thank you again to everyone. Have a great afternoon.